What's going on, everybody? It is Monday and I'm going to keep trying to put out these videos every week. Very much enjoy it, and thank you so much for the feedback. I got so much positive feedback last time, and it really does encourage me. I want you to know that it really does affect my heart, and I take it to heart. I wanted to talk today about choosing your teachers, or choosing the people that influence you. So if you want to learn about bike riding, who do you ask? Do you ask the mailman, the courier, or the car salesman? The courier. The courier knows about bike riding. That's the person you should be asking. If you have a surgery coming up, who do you want to operate on you? Do you want your barber or hairdresser? Probably not. Do you want your pharmacist? Closer, but no, not really. You want the trained and experienced surgeon to be the one who's going to cut you open and take care of you. So every day when we realize that someone else has an expertise in something that we don't know, we let them influence our decisions in that manner. We go to mechanics for cars. We go to doctors when we have health problems. And we do this, why? Because we know that we don't have the answers, and this person has more experience, more knowledge about this particular subject than I do. So I'm gonna yield to what they say, because they clearly know more than me. I say that because I recognize that my views on healing are heavily influenced by the environment that I am currently in. Because my views on healing are different than most people's. In fact, even to go further, my views on healing are probably different than most Christians. We go to mechanics for our car issues, we go to doctors for our health issues, and somehow I have learned about miracles and healings from people who I don't necessarily know if they saw a whole lot. Part of the big reason why I moved out here, I moved out to Bethel because they said, we see a lot of miracles. And I said to myself, I need to know if that's actually true. Like, this is literally why I came. I said, if I go and I find out that it's all fake, I'll look like a fool for a year. But if I go and it turns out to be real, then the rest of my life changes. I didn't come because I felt called. I kind of came on a theological gamble. In fact, when I first came, I came with the expectation that 95% of what I was going to see was going to be fake. I even thought to myself, if most of what I see is fake, but there's a sliver of something that's undeniably God, it would all be worth it. When I came into this environment, I would call myself a hopeful skeptic. I really wanted it to be true, but at the same time, I was not willing to be fooled an inch. I figured if it really was true, it would definitely be able to stand up to my skepticism. Fast forward a year, and I'm well convinced that the miracles I see are actually real. And with that said, I'm okay with letting those people who have more experience and more understanding with the supernatural side of God influence my theology of miracles. Now, I don't believe that just because a miracle happens that is God rubber stamping all of your perfect theology. That's not what I believe. However, isn't there a little bit of wisdom in saying, okay, if they see more miracles and more healings than I do, and if they're used by God in that process, is there not a little bit of wisdom that says maybe there's something to be learned by them? And if you say, no, I'm sorry, you're wrong, like I theologically know why God doesn't normally perform miracles, I would say, okay, fine. But this idea that we're learning about healing from people who aren't actually seeing it, I just don't think you live that out in anywhere else in your life. That wasn't the way you thought when you picked a driving school. You didn't believe that when you went to your doctor. You didn't believe that when you went to your mechanic. And you probably don't believe that anytime you recognize you don't have the answer and you see someone who you know knows more than you. Next week, I'm actually going to talk about what I believe about healing. But in the meantime, what I'm asking is that if you have questions about healing, go on the journey and investigate the people who say that they see healings. Thank you for watching, and I very much appreciate it. I will see you next Monday. So about 3 weeks ago, I went to Cleveland for a conference with Bill Johnson, and I got to be a part of his ministry team, and I saw more miracles than I ever have in my entire life. We saw a woman get to ditch her walker. We saw one guy whose testimony, he got up to the mic and was like, well, I used to be colorblind, and that was his testimony.